Study of the scriptures, of which the most important is Bhagavad Gita. So, how do we do this deep study? Just briefly, I will mention the necessity of this deep study. Anybody interested in Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada says in the Bhagavad Gita, in the preface itself, our Krishna consciousness movement is genuine, historically authorized, natural, and transcendental due to its being based on Bhagavad Gita as it is. The entire Krishna conscious movement is based on this Bhagavad. Therefore, if we want to become Krishna conscious, we should take guidance from the Bhagavad Gita. And since Srila Prabhupada has explained this Bhagavad Gita very nicely in his translation, word for meaning, translation, and purports. So, study of Bhagavad Gita is necessary. We get very clear guidance, very clear understanding, and this can be studied, from different perspectives, different levels, and you can discover newer things as you keep studying many times. One can study this even 10 times, 15 times, 20 times. Now, I've been reading and then later on studying this since the last 35 years. Still, there are so many things I do not know in this Bhagavad Gita. So, it is very, very, as I said, cream of the cream of the cream. So, it's highly condensed. So, to digest this, it requires time. So, we should be willing to patiently study this. So, now, just for some very, very basic study, I'm going to suggest a simple method. Now, it would be nice if you could have a physical copy of the book. That doesn't mean that you should not refer to your, iPhone or mobile phone or whatever the soft copy in on the internet or whatever. You can do that, but this should be your primary source of study, the physical copy. Okay. Let us open first chapter, first verse, the opening verse of the Gita. As Srila Prabhupada says, later on you can read the preface. I won't go into the preface now, but I'll just mention in the preface, Prabhupada says that before this Bhagavad Gita as it is was published in this form, the Macmillan publishers wanted a abridged version. And Prabhupada did give an abridged version in 400 pages. The Collier edition, it's called. That Collier edition, it was not in detail. There were no verses, only the translations were there. And selected purports. No word for meaning, no synonyms, no verses, only only the translation of each verse and some purports. few purports. So Prabhupada says here, before my, sorry, not that one. Originally, I wrote Bhagavad Gita as it is in the form in which it is presented now. When this book was first published, the original manuscript was unfortunately cut short to less than 400 pages, without illustrations and without explanation for most of the original verses of Bhagavad Gita. In all of my other books, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ishopanishad, etc., the system is that I give the original verse, its English transliteration, word for word Sanskrit English equivalents, which is also called synonyms, translations, and purports. This makes the book very authentic and scholarly and makes the meaning self evident. So clearly, you can understand the meaning and you can properly study this the way it is presented in the Bhagavatam, Ishopanishad, and now the second time this was published in the Bhagavad Gita also. So every verse, so Prabhupada gives the verse in the Devanagari script, that's the Sanskrit script, and then the transliteration. This transliteration is good if you can learn this. Even if you can't read the Devanagari, you can learn the transliteration. It will help you because all the quoted verses in this purports are only in this transliterated form. You don't have the Devanagari or the quoted verses. And plenty of quotations are there in the Bhagavad Gita. Plenty of quotations. And this has got a very comprehensive appendix. There is Sanskrit pronunciation guide, there's a glossary, there is a general index, there is a verse index, and there is a, description of, there's a set of illustrations, 44 pictures are there, illustrations. And there is a picture index. Picture index. Each of the 44 plates have been explained. Briefly, of course. So it's very, very, special book, this Bhagavad Gita. So 1.1, the verse. So when you read the verse, you should learn to recite the verse. And if you attend Bhagavatam class, you have seen how we recite first one word at a time, then one line at a time, and then the entire verse line by line. We go through several times. So one devotee will lead and others will follow. So you can do that yourself, or you can form smaller groups and then you can do this practice of recitation of the verse. Simply by reciting the verse a few times, you become expert in learning Sanskrit. Prabhupada says, I painstakingly given the synonyms or the word for word Sanskrit English equivalents because I want my disciples to learn Sanskrit through this. I never studied Sanskrit, but I learned a lot of Sanskrit simply by going through this in Prabhupada's books. And also Prabhupada explains in the purports. One word he takes and explains in so detailed way. So you don't have to study Sanskrit grammar. It's very complicated. Simply go through this and you can learn whatever little Sanskrit is required for appreciating the scripture. Okay. So first the verse, Dhritarashtra Uvacha. And as you keep reading, you understand Uvacha means somebody speaking. Okay. Who is speaking? Dhritarashtra. Everybody except Krishna, the name of the person generally will be there. Only in the case of Krishna, it doesn't say Krishna Uvacha, it says Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Not even Bhagavan Uvacha, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Sri means actually, he is the one endowed with unlimited opulences. Shri. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Shriman. That is the full form of that word Shri. The short is Shri. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. And not only in Bhagavad Gita, everywhere in the Bhagavatam, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the other Puranas, other Itihasas, everywhere Krishna is referred to as Shri Bhagavan. So here in this it says first Dhritarashtra Vacha. Dhritarashtra said, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyitsavaha. Sanskrit, the way Sanskrit is a perfect language, Sanskrit means it is very much refined. It has undergone samskarana. It is refined. It's the most refined language in the whole creation, Sanskrit. So there are definite noun and verb forms. It's called declension. And the declension makes it very, very exact as to the form in which the word is used is very precise. So wherever the word is placed, its meaning will not change at all, irrespective of where the word is placed. Because in Sanskrit poetry, the poetry has to be composed according to poetry rules. That's called chandas. So how many letters should be there in one line? Letters means syllables, syllables in one line. And how many total syllables in the entire verse? This verse is in a chandas called Anushtup Chandas. They study this in Sanskrit grammar, and those who study poetry, Sanskrit poetry in detail, they study this. So in the Anushtup Chandas, there will be 8 syllables in one line, and like this there will be 4 lines, and each line 8 syllables means totally 32 syllables. 32 syllables. So to fit this 32 syllables into one verse, every verse in the Bhagavad Gita, which is in Anushtup Chandas, most of the verses are Anushtup Chandas. Very few verses in another Chandas called Trishtup Chandas. So this Anushtup Chandas, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre, this is 8 syllables. Samaveta Yuyutsavaha, another 8 syllables. But the number of words can vary. Dharma Kshetre is one word, Kurukshetra is another word, 2 words. The second line is again 2 words, Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. The third line is 4 words. Mamaka Pandavas Chaiva. Chaiva is a compound word, Cha Eva. You can see in the synonyms, this is broken down. The words are broken down, compound words are broken down. And even the single word, sometimes because of Sanskrit rules, like Samaveta is there in the original verse, but if you see the word for meaning, it will be Samavetaha. So these are all Sanskrit rules for composing poetry, that Samavetaha, when placed in the poetry lines, it becomes Samaveta. Meaning doesn't change. The meaning is exactly what is given in the Sanskrit English equivalents. Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavas Chaiva. Here 4 words, but again the total syllables are only 8. Kim Akurvat Sanjaya. Again here 3 words. So like this verse has 32 syllables, 8 per line, but number of words is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 words are there. So now come to the translation, and then I will come back to the word for word meaning. The translation Prabhupada is given. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after assembling in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do, being desirous to fight? This is the meaning of the straightforward meaning of the verse. Now come to, you can read it a few times when you are yourself studying. You few times you recite the verse till you become quite comfortable and familiar with all the words there, all the terms. And then you read the translation also a few times. And break up the translation, phrase by phrase, even if necessary, word by word like that. Break up the translation. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, he is addressing Sanjaya. The Sanskrit says Sanjaya, but here proper translation, O Sanjaya. It's called Sambodhana Prathama. That's Sanskrit grammar anyway. Leave that aside. It is addressing Sanjaya, O Sanjaya. After assembling in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? What did they do? That is what is there in the word for meaning. But here, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? Being desirous to fight. So now let's come to the synonyms or the word for word Sanskrit English equivalents. Dhritarashtra, Dhritarashtraha is the Sanskrit word. In the verse it is Dhritarashtra. But here in the words, individual words given here, it says Dhritarashtraha. The translation or the English equivalent, King Dhritarashtra. Now Prabhupada is giving us the translation King Dhritarashtra because later on there will be reference to Dhritarashtra, Rajan, O King. Because he is the caretaker king. Now this Bhagavad Gita is part of what? Mahabharata. Mahabharata is a great history of greater India. Mahabharata. Maha is greater, Bharata is India. So history of greater India. Because it is Itihasa, as I told. Yesterday I think I mentioned. Those of you who were here yesterday. It is Itihasa. It is history. But this history is not ordinary history. It is a history of the Supreme Lord and his great devotees, pure devotees. So in the Mahabharata, we are principally concerned with historical narration of Krishna and his pure devotees, the Pandavas, their activities. That's what the Mahabharata is about. History of the activities of Krishna and his pure devotees, the Pandavas. So therefore Mahabharata is very important. But Mahabharata, the Itihasa, the historical narration is very big. 1 lakh verses. 1 lakh means 100,000 verses. Whereas Bhagavad Gita is just 700 verses. The essence of the Vedic wisdom. The essence of the Mahabharata. So therefore, here, Dhritarashtra is referred to as King Dhritarashtra. And Uvacha said. So if you see the translation, Dhritarashtra said. But here king is given to help us properly understand who is Dhritarashtra, King Dhritarashtra. Then Dharma Kshetre, in the place of pilgrimage. Dharma has got different meanings in different contexts. But here Kshetra means a place. Dharma Kshetra is a place of pilgrimage. Now Kshetre means in the place of pilgrimage. So Prabhupada has done the work for us. We don't have to go to Sanskrit grammar and this Dharma Kshetra word, how it is declined. Ramaha, Ramau, Ramaha, Dharma Kshetraha, Dharma Kshetre, Dharma Kshetram, Dharma Kshetrani, like that. So many forms of this Dharma Kshetra will be there. So in this, it is Dharma Kshetre, in the place of pilgrimage. Kurukshetre, again, Kurukshetra is the name of a place itself, Kurukshetra. So Kurukshetre, in the place named Kurukshetra. That's why he's telling named. Name of a place it is, Kurukshetra. Then Samavetaha, assembled. Yuyutsavaha, desiring to fight. Actually, Yuyutsavaha literally means to fight. But Prabhupada is adding that desiring to fight. In what sense is it mentioned Yuyutsavaha, to fight? Desiring to fight. Why this desiring to fight is coming? If you hear Prabhupada's discourses on this first chapter, you will understand that the Pandavas did not want a fight. They lost their kingdom and they wanted to get it back. The Kauravas would not give back. And then Kauravas challenged the Pandavas. Duryodhana challenged the Pandavas or the Yudhishthira. And then still Yudhishthira wanted to avoid a world war. The Battle of Kurukshetra is a world war. So to avoid the world war where there will be massacre of so many millions of people. So he wanted to avoid, so he did a peace negotiation. He tried to avoid the battle or the war, world war. But it failed. Duryodhana would not agree. So then Krishna went on behalf of the Pandavas and tried to speak to Duryodhana to not fight. Instead, accept the Pandavas' offer that Kauravas can rule. Pandavas just wanted 5 villages for 5 brothers, just for their livelihood. As Kshatriyas, they are meant to live by collecting taxes after giving protection to the common people. So, very, very simple solution, very elementary, very peaceful way of settling this whole dispute or controversy, whatever. So, here Prabhupada is giving us the meaning, desiring to fight. Then, Mamakaha, the literal meaning is my party. But Prabhupada writes in bracket, sons. That means my sons. Dhritarashtra is referring to his sons as Mamakaha, my party. Pandavaha, straightforward, the sons of Pandu. They are called Pandavaha. They collectively called Pandavas. Cha and Eva, certainly. Now, Cha and Eva is not there directly like that in the verse. The verse, it says, the combined form of these 2 words called Sandhi, Chaiva. Generally, wherever Chaiva comes, it will be broken up into Cha and Eva. So, Cha is and Eva is certainly. Kim, that's a 4th line, the first word, Kim, what? Akurvata, did they do? Sanjaya, now Sanjaya is Sanjaya, but here in the meaning or equivalent, Prabhupada says, O Sanjaya. It is Dhritarashtra addressing Sanjaya, his secretary. Dhritarashtra is the king, Sanjaya is his secretary. King has a secretary, Sanjaya. So he is addressing his secretary, O Sanjaya. So now let us see how we can fit the verse into the translation. For each portion of the translation, let's try to fit the Sanskrit. Dhritarashtra said, what is in the Sanskrit? Dhritarashtra Vacha. Simple. O Sanjaya. Now, in the verse, it is just Sanjaya. Though in the word for meaning, you can see Sanjaya is translated as O Sanjaya. So in the translation, it says O Sanjaya. The Sanskrit should be just Sanjaya. That's all. After assembling. Now, in the word for meaning, you can see it is got assembled. So, Prabhupada is explaining little in the translation. Instead of telling assembled directly in the translation, he's telling after assembling. Why? Because Dhritarashtra's question is, what did they do? So when it says, what did they do? He says, after having assembled for fighting, what did they do? So Prabhupada is explaining a little in the translation. Therefore, he's telling, after assembling, the Sanskrit is just one word. What is that? Samavetaha. In the actual verse, it is Samaveta. That's all. But the actual word is Samavetaha. You can just say Samaveta. What is there in the translation? In the original verse, you can just say Samaveta. So far we have seen Dhritarashtra Sanjaya, Samaveta. This much you have done. Then in the place of pilgrimage, that is directly there, in the place of pilgrimage. What is that? Dharmakshetre. Then at Kurukshetra. At Kurukshetra is not there in the word for meaning. What is there in the word for meaning? In the place named Kurukshetra. In the place named Kurukshetra. Now here, Prabhupada, in the translation, is not telling in the place named Kurukshetra. He is telling at Kurukshetra. So that in the place named Kurukshetra, the place named is, for our understanding, Kurukshetra is the name of a place. For those who are not familiar with Mahabharata, are not familiar with the Bhagavad Gita, that it is before the battle is about to begin between the Pandavas and Kauravas for who's going to rule the entire world. So then this battle took place. So before the battle, this whole conversation is going on between Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya, and there's a reference to what's happening on the battlefield in a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. Okay. So at Kurukshetra, that is where the battle is supposed to be taking place. So at Kurukshetra. For that, the Sanskrit is Kurukshetre. That's all. Then what? Now directly what is there? Kim. One word. Simple. One English word, one Sanskrit word. Kim. Did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? So my sons, it is there here. Mamakaha. Of course, it's my party, but bracket proper already given sons, referring to the sons of Dhritarashtra. So my sons is Mamakaha. And this and there's already Mamakaha Pandavaha Cha Eva Cha. Cha is and is Cha. The sons of Pandu, directly it is there, sons of Pandu, the sons of Pandu, Pandavaha. So, what Kim did my sons, Mamakaha, and Cha, the sons of Pandu, what is sons of Pandu? Pandavaha, do. Do is, did they do? So that did my sons and the sons of Pandu do, did do, akurvata, being desirous to fight. So, as I said, desiring to fight is given in the word for meaning, yutsavaha. So, being desirous to fight is better explaining yutsavaha. Or desiring to fight is better explaining yutsavaha. So, the word is yutsavaha. Now, after doing this, you can just check whether all the words in the verse are covered in the way you have broken up the verse into the translation. Fitted the verse in the translation. All the words are covered? No. One word is remaining. Which one? Eva. What is Eva? Certainly. It's an assertion. So this assertion is for stressing something. So that will be explained in the purport by Srila Prabhupada. It doesn't exactly alter the meaning, whether you put that word eva in the meaning or translation or not. It doesn't alter the meaning. But it is very significant because to understand what is going on in Dhritarashtra's mind, why is he asking this question, and how significant the question is, all that is better appreciated by the verse having this word eva. So we'll see that in the purport. But for now, just take a note that eva has not come in the translation, but it is there in the verse. Any other word? No, all other words we have actually seen it is coming in the translation. Now come to the purport. Now the word purport, Prabhupada himself explains why has he used the word purport. He says purport means it explains the purpose of the verse. One meaning of purport is explains the purpose of the verse. Purport. Also, purport can also mean it explains the verse in greater detail. And that's what we can see in this particular example I have taken. It explains the verse in greater detail. Also, purport connects this verse to the previous verse or verses. Because the whole Bhagavad Gita is 700 verses arranged in a specific order. Because it is Vyasadeva describing what is happening on the battlefield. A very, very significant event is happening. Momentous event. So that momentous event is being captured in history, historical narration form by Vyasadeva in the Mahabharata. One small portion of the Mahabharata is this Bhagavad Gita. In the Mahabharata, in one particular volume of the Mahabharata is in 18 volumes called Parva. So this comes in Bhishma Parva. That's the name of the volume in which this appears, Bhagavad Gita appears. So many chapters are there in that Parva, that volume. So in that, 18 chapters are designated as Bhagavad Gita. This is part of Mahabharata only. But these 18 chapters are part of 18 chapters of Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata. 18 chapters. Some mothers have to attend to some children crying. Okay. So, 18 chapters are generally studied as part of Mahabharata, but because it's such an important portion of the Mahabharata, the essence of the Vedic wisdom, so this is also studied separately as 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. But if you go to the Mahabharata, you will not find chapter number 1, chapter number 2, no. You will find part of the Bhishma Parva, please some 25th chapter, 26th chapter, 27th chapter, 28th chapter, like that it will go. What were the numbers there? I don't know what the numbers are. So, this is explained by Prabhupada as a part of Mahabharata also. And since Prabhupada is giving a complete presentation of this Bhagavad Gita as a scripture by itself, therefore, in the beginning of the book itself, the first opening verse purport, the first paragraph, he talks about only the Bhagavad Gita, nothing about the verse specifically, about Bhagavad Gita. And the last verse, the last chapter, 18 chapter, 78th verse, if you see, the ending, the last purport, Prabhupada writes the conclusion of the Gita in one paragraph. So those are not pertaining to the verse specifically, but only pertains to the entire scripture called Bhagavad Gita. So first paragraph is about Bhagavad Gita only. So you read that and you will see every single statement there is about Bhagavad Gita. It's not about this verse. Then come to the second paragraph. The second paragraph, again, it is explaining Bhagavad Gita as a part of Mahabharata, in which somewhere in the Mahabharata this is appearing, and the significance of this Bhagavad Gita as part of Mahabharata is explained in the second paragraph. The second paragraph also has nothing to do specifically with the verse. Okay? Now come to the third paragraph. This is where the explanation of the verse begins. In the third paragraph, Prabhupada explains Dharma Kshetra in detail. The word in the verse is Dharma Kshetre, in the place of pilgrimage. In the place of pilgrimage. But in the explanation, in the purport, Prabhupada says the word Dharma Kshetra, that's the original word. A place where religious rituals are performed. See, Dharma Kshetra in the word for meaning as well as the translation says place of pilgrimage. But here in bracket, Prabhupada is giving an additional understanding. What is that? A place where religious rituals are performed. Dharma can mean religious rituals. Dharma can mean duty. Dharma can mean principles of religion. Dharma can mean the truth. Dharma can mean so many different meanings can be there. Particularly Sanskrit is very rich language. So one word can have just one meaning, or it can have 5 meanings, 20 meanings. There's a word called Hari. You've heard of that. We say Hari Bol. Hari, in that case, when you say Hari Bol, kindly chant the name of the Supreme Lord, Hari. Another name of the Supreme Lord is Hari. So there's a specific meaning for that word Hari. One who takes away all our miseries. Hari. But Hari has got 19 other meanings. 19 other meanings. So Hari can mean a thief. Hari can mean a lion. Now, Narsimha, one of the incarnations, we have a deity of Narsimha here, Lakshmi Narsimha. So Narasimha, he got that name, Narasimha, because the Lord appeared in that form in a half man, half lion. Half man, half lion. No, half lion is on the top, the face only. And rest of the body is half man. Okay? So, half man, Nara, half lion, Simha. That's how he got the name, Narasimha. Now, Narasimha, the Sanskrit language, Nara means half man. So, Nara in Narahari, another name for Narasimha. Nara means the same, half man. Hari. Hari means again the same meaning as Simha. What is that? Lion. So, Hari is another equivalent or meaning of Hari is lion. Narahari is the example for that. Then, Hari also means monkey. Hari also means monkey. So how many meanings have I given? 4. First one is the name of the Supreme Lord, because he takes away or he steals or he takes away all the miseries of the devotees. Hari. Then Hari also means a thief. So there is an instance of this word Hari as thief being used in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. When there's a conversation between one Chand Kazi, he was the local magistrate of a province where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, Navadvip, and he was ruling as the magistrate. And some people went and complained that these Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit, he was called Nimai Pandit. So he is leading a big uh, group of people, and they keep on singing something, and they keep dancing, and they're making too much of noise, too much of noise. And they're disturbing the general peace of the entire town, and they're also creating a lot of nuisance. So kindly stop this Sankirtan. They're singing. They didn't say Sankirtan, they said singing. Street Sankirtan, as Prabhupada says. They used to perform street Sankirtan. So they went and complained and said, and these people are very funny people. They keep shouting something, but one thing we distinctly heard, they shout, thief, 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 thief. So who is the thief? Where is thief? We don't know. They keep telling, hurry, 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 hurry. So one of the meanings of the word hurry is thief. That's why they went and complained. We don't know who they are referring to as. Sometimes when some person is getting, house is getting stolen or somebody's pickpocket, in cities it happens. Pickpocket is, stealing from somebody's pocket. He will start shouting, alerting others, thief, thief, chor, 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 like that. Same way, these people thought, these followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they say, hurry, 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 hurry. So what is this? They're shouting, thief, thief, thief. Who's the thief? Whom are they referring to? We don't know. And they laugh. Huh? So like that, Hari also means thief. Hari means lion. Hari means monkey. Hmm? So whenever we read a translation, we should be sure that the accurate translation is done by whoever is translating, because they are not speculating, they are not guessing the meaning, they are not giving their own meaning. So Prabhupada, when he translates, he gives this, every word he gives the meaning. So he has got the authority to translate. That's what he says, no? Our movement is historically authorized. Means Prabhupada is receiving this knowledge in parampara. From his guru, he has received this knowledge, this understanding, the specific meaning of the words in each verse. It's not his interpretation. Generally, authors, they say, it is my interpretation. If you ask one author, somebody else has translated Bhagavad Gita this way, you have said something else. Oh, it is my interpretation. Prabhupada says, this is not my interpretation. That's why he also says, as it is. As it is. So, the way Krishna explained to Arjuna, exactly as Arjuna understood from Krishna, that spirit of the Bhagavad Gita, that sense in which the different words are used in the Bhagavad Gita by Vyasadeva, or Krishna instructing Arjuna, what is the meaning, specific meaning he is communicating by using a certain word. So that is available only in the Parampara system. Therefore, we should only read books written by somebody who is basing their explanations on the Parampara understanding. There are verses where Atma, the word Atma, it has got 7 meanings, Atma. Elsewhere, it is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, 7 meanings. But one specific meaning is used in a particular verse. Now, I met one scholar who was telling, your Swamiji, referring to Prabhupada, has given the meaning of Atma in one particular word as soul. Spirit soul, individual soul. Somebody else has given the meaning super soul, Paramatma. So why the difference? Then I explained to him what are the basis, and both meanings are there in the dictionary. Atma can mean soul, Atma can mean super soul. Atma in the Bhagavad Gita itself, in different places, Atma means the mind, Atma means the body, Atma means the senses, Atma means intelligence, Atma means false ego, Atma means Krishna. So Atma can mean so many different, meanings are there. But Prabhupada has given in that particular verse, which that gentleman was asking me, the word soul. Prabhupada has taken the meaning soul, because that's the way Prabhupada is receiving the understanding of that verse from the parampara, from his guru who is coming in parampara, disciplic succession. So therefore, our understanding of Gita is strictly what is coming in parampara. That's all. Finished. We don't have any controversy, or we don't have people translating differently our uh, uh, in our disciplic succession. No different translation, no different interpretations, no different meanings. Only one meaning. Very clear, definite, single meaning. That's why Prabhupada is giving the word for meaning also. Okay. So the word Dharmakshetra is significant. So he's explaining the verse by first taking the usage of this word Dharmakshetra. Because, why is it significant? Because on the battlefield Kurukshetra, you're keeping time, Sanatana? Okay. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present on the side of Arjuna. Battle, what has it got to do with uh, religious rituals, sacred place of pilgrimage? What is the connection between sacred place of pilgrimage and battle or war, fighting, killing? Seems incongruous, no? Therefore, here Prabhupada is explaining the word Dharmakshetra is significant because on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is Krishna, was present on the side of Arjuna. Then Prabhupada further explains, Dhritarashtra, the father of the Kurus here refers to Kauravas, father of the Kauravas, Dhritarashtra, was highly doubtful about the possibility of his son's ultimate victory. There's a whole reason why he's asking this question. He was doubtful about the ultimate victory of his sons. Why? In his doubt, he inquired from his secretary Sanjaya. Who's Sanjaya? He's secretary of Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is the king. What did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? This is a question he's inquiring directly. In the verse you can make out. Okay, what did my sons and sons of Pandu do? Why is he asking this question, or what is the sense in which we can understand this question being asked by Dhritarashtra to Sanjaya? He was confident that both his sons and the sons of his younger brother Pandu were assembled. He's talking about assembled, no? In that field of Kurukshetra for a determined engagement of the war. Now, this has also got reference to Mahabharata. I told you, the Mahabharata, Yudhishthira and the Pandavas did not want to fight. So they tried peace negotiation before the war was actually decided to be fought. So when they are trying peace negotiation, Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, they are adamant that battle must happen. No peaceful way of settling the dispute. No. So therefore, it is said here, Dhritarashtra was confident. See, previous sentence says it is doubt. He had some doubt. whether my sons will win. But then he was confident that both his sons and the sons of his younger brother Pandu were assembled for a determined engagement of the war. That means war is going to take place. There's no question of compromise or resolving the conflict without war. Still, his inquiry is significant. So one sentence purposes, or is explained, he was determined, he was confident. But previous to that, it was said he was doubtful about the son's victory. So therefore, the significance of his inquiry, he did not want a compromise between the cousins and brothers. And he wanted to be sure of the fate of his sons on the battlefield. He wanted his sons to win. And that is the reason why Mahabharata explains that even when they were small boys, this Duryodhana, evil-minded Duryodhana, Durbuddhe, it is described in the Bhagavad Gita later. Durbuddhi is evil-minded, this Duryodhana. And the Pandavas are all very, very pious. They are pure devotees. They are very pious souls. So they are actually very religious-minded, very pious people. So the Kauravas, especially Duryodhana, is very evil-minded. So that evil-minded Duryodhana, he was influencing Dhritarashtra in such a way that Dhritarashtra became very much desirous that the battle should take place and his son should win and the Pandavas should be destroyed, killed once and forever. They're not going to again come back and ask for their kingdom. They'll be destroyed and finished. So this Duryodhana, when they were young boys in the Gurukul, that time itself Dhritarashtra tried to kill Bhima by poisoning him. It is explained in the Mahabharata and the Bhagavatam also it's explained. So there is a historical background for this Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada says Bhagavad Gita is not referring to some mythology. Mythology means some imaginary story for conveying some morals. Simply this fictitious story. Somebody cooks up some story, There was somebody called Pandavas, somebody called Kauravas. They were ruling, Kauravas were ruling, and they were Pandavas were eligible for being the rulers, but they were denied. Some nice stories made up. This is the wrong understanding or the wrong propaganda being done by the invaders, the Britishers. Later on, even our Indian scholars, many of them, being influenced by those Britishers, especially one, Max Muller. He has written so many translations of the Vedas, Upanishads, and he's writing in such a way that we lose faith in our own scriptures, and he has given the terminology mythology. Mythology comes from the word myth. Myth means something which is not a fact. It's all false, it is all cooked up, it is all fictitious, it is all imaginary. It is not a real incident that took place 5,000 years back. Because they have only history for 2,000 years. So they don't have history of 5,000 years. But we have history not only of 5,000 years, we have history of millions and billions and trillions of years. The lifespan of Brahma, the first created being in the whole universe and the topmost controller among the created beings, his lifespan is 311 trillion years. The calculation is given in the Bhagavad Gita. 311 trillion years. We have this kind of history, factual history. So these people cannot understand, they don't have brains, they don't have brain substance. Like in Bengali, they say, some people's brain is filled with cow dung. Gobar, gobar. Such people cannot understand. Because why? They eat stool. That's why their brain is filled with stool. How do they eat stool? In Sanskrit, in Bhagavad Gita itself, it is there. Meat is referred to as amedhya. Amedhya means literally means untouchable. Untouchable means, what is untouchable? Very easy. Stool. Untouchable. Hmm? So, like that, these people's brain is filled with stool because they eat stool. Another form of stool is meat, animal flesh. So, they eat animal flesh. So, therefore, their brains are filled with stool, amedhya, untouchable. So, therefore, they can't understand that we have history, factual history of trillions of years. We have Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Bhagavata, Puranas, like that. So, here the explanation is given based on the Mahabharata, based on the factual history of what actually happened 5,000 years back. So that is being explained here. And you carefully go through, and then occasionally there will be a reference to Mahabharata. And if you have doubts or you have some questions, it is good to ask and get clarification. Because those who have studied this in little detail, they'll fill in the background of the Mahabharata. Sometimes Prabhupada, when he gives a discourse on this first chapter particularly, he gives a lot of background from the Mahabharata. In the Bhagavatam, there are a lot of detailed information about history about this Bhagavad Gita or Mahabharata. It's there. Plenty of history is there in the Bhagavatam. So this Bhagavatam and Mahabharata together, somebody has read, somebody has studied, they can tell a lot of details. So you have any doubts, you please ask. Just for your understanding. It's not required to understand per se Bhagavad Gita, but for your interest. Okay, so I'll stop here. Now you want to break up into groups.
We'll be breaking into 4 groups, Maharaj.
Okay.
We'll just tell people to just do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
And then three, four. 4. One.
Exactly. 1.
You're 2. Thank you so much. Reduce the volume. Okay, so the ones can assemble here, 2 can go there, 3 in the back there, and 4 over here.
Okay. Very easy. You're not sending them to different rooms.
Oh no, we'll do it here itself.
You can do it here.
Yeah.
Very convenient. I'll announce the verses. Let them first assemble. The groups can assemble in the corners. Then I will tell the verse. Okay, please settle down. I will give you the assignment for the breakout session.
One person should do
Padmakshi Mataji is there, no?
Okay, everyone settle down.
Then we should announce out to them that they will come back. Yeah.
Nandakishore, you're going to announce?
I think first we have only 3 coordinators, probably.
No.
Maharaj.
Oh, 3 coordinators. I can be coordinated for somebody.
Okay, Maharaj.
Okay, Maharaj. Maharaj.
I'll do for one. I'll do.
Audience, say something.
Okay. Hare Krishna. For those joining online, on YouTube, we are doing what is called interactive breakout sessions. So there will be a half an hour of discussion on what Maharaj has explained by going through specific verses, and we will be discussing some intricacies, and we'll come back in like around half an hour, and Maharaj will conclude the session. So please, you can get back, keep watching the space. In another half an hour, we will get back. Huh? Okay. So Maharaj will be saying some verses now that we will be discussing. So you can go through those verses. And
No, only one verse for each group.
yeah, for each group, there will be one verse.
One verse only.
So you can pick one verse. I'm explaining for those online now. So you can pick one of those verses and go
No,
through
not pick one of those verses. Tell them pick group 1 verse.
Group 1 verse.
Yeah,
Okay.
online people to pick the same verse as group 1.
Group 1.
What you're going to tell.
So Maharaj is going to announce some verses for different groups, and we have 4 groups. So online people also, you can pick the verse for group 1, and you can go through the same steps as we are going to discuss.
Okay. So for the breakout session, group 1, first chapter, second verse. Just one verse. Now analyze it same way in a group like I did for 1.1. Okay. For group 2, so for the online people, it's this group 1 verse, first chapter, second verse, 1.2, 1.2 Bhagavad Gita. For the second group, it is 1.3. Okay, for second group, it is 1.3, the third verse of the first chapter. For the third group, right there, third group, yeah. So it is 1.14, 1.14, 1.4, group 3. And for group 4, it is 1.15, 1.5. Okay? So now you can do together you sit and analyze. As for the purport is concerned, I want you to write distinct points in the purport. 1, 2, 3, 4, some points. What Prabhupada has explained in the purport. That's all that is I require you to do. Verse, translation, word for meaning, match it, and then purport points. That's all. So tell who's the coordinator for which group. Group 1. Okay, I am for coordinator for group 1. Vikram Krishna Prabhu for group 2. And then Nandakishore Prabhu for group 3. And Sanatan Prabhu for group 4. Okay? All right.
Hare Krishna, those who are online, you can do the second word. Yeah, second verse of the first chapter. starting with the Sanskrit words, one by one word, and then the translation, and then going to the word to word translations, and then mapping those translations to the English meaning, English translation, and then going to the purport and trying to understand how Prabhupada is explaining the purport in terms of the points in the purport. Yeah.
We're still discussing? Group 4? Almost done. Huh? 5 minutes more? Okay. 5 minutes. Nanda Kishore, ready? 5 more minutes. Vikram is ready already, he told me. Vikram's group. Group 2 is ready. Group 2 is ready. Group 3 is ready. Group 4 requires 5 more minutes. Group 4 requires 5 minutes.
It's too late also. It's too late on.
12:30 we have to wind up. Huh? Evening session is
Okay, Hare Krishna. Everybody please go back to yours.
Go back to your seats. No, they can sit in the same formation. No? In the same seat.
Okay, you can sit in your same places also if you want. If you want to discuss among your groups, whatever is convenient. Yeah, sit with your groups. Just turn towards here.
This is good, huh? Nice discussion they're doing.
Huh?
Nice discussion they're doing. Good. Hare Krishna. So Vikram, you only can conduct. What do you want me to say?
So, each team just spend not more than 1 minute to speak with your response.
Okay. Okay.
So, who's your
Spokesperson.
okay? Who's a spokesperson for a group? Everybody's planning to make.
Okay.
So you have to quickly 1 minute timer.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So our verse was the second verse of the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And are we just the purport points? Okay. So our points from the purport was that Dhritarashtra and his sons were spiritually blind, and Dhritarashtra knew this. So he was scared of the influence of the holy place, Dharmakshetra, on his sons. He was thinking that they might compromise, or that he was worried about the outcome of the war, as they wanted to win, and this was like unlawfully winning. This verse also covers the anxiety and fear of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. Both of them, it said that how Dhritarashtra is talking to Sanjaya, and Sanjaya could understand his motive, that he was very fearful of the influence of the holy place, and Duryodhana, seeing the military formation of the Pandavas, he was also very fearful about the outcome of the war. So Prabhupada says that Duryodhana was a politician, but because he was so scared after seeing the military strength of the Pandavas, he couldn't hide his fear, even though he was trying to put up a diplomatic veneer. He was trying to show, like a politician, that he wasn't scared. And it's also mentioned that Dronacharya was the commander in chief. So Duryodhana went to him and was trying to act like he was talking strategy after the war started, but he was actually scared for the outcome of the war. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, we had a question. Bhishma was the first commander in chief.
Here described commander-in-chief means one of the commanders-in-chief, not the first commander in the fighting. Yeah. He is the rank or the grade of commander. He's not a lower level soldier or a sub commander or whatever. They have so many ranks, no, in military. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Group 2, yes.
Yeah. So ours is 1.3. The translation is, "O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged, by your intelligent disciples, the sons of Drupada. So in this, there's a few things that Prabhupada ji has added, where he says the first one being my teacher. So the literal translation is "O teacher," but my teacher is to emphasize on the part of Duryodhana that Dronacharya is actually fighting from the side of the Kauravas and not the Pandavas, especially given his great love for Arjuna and the rest of the Pandavas, and the fact that he has already taught, the military phalanx to that could kill him to Drishtadhyumna, knowing fully well that Drishtadhyumna was created or was born to kill him. So he emphasizes the qualities of a teacher. Teacher is liberal, even though he knows that this person is going to kill him, he still teaches him everything. And then in the case of Duryodhana, he is trying to instigate Dronacharya so that by pointing out in a very diplomatic way the mistakes that Dronacharya has already made by emphasizing, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple. So the expertly, there is no literal translation here, but he's saying that to emphasize that, that Drishtadhyumna has done this in a very, he's become an expert, and he can kill him basically. And the other thing here is by your intelligent disciple. This is again to instigate Dronacharya, that your intelligent disciple, Drishtadhyumna, is now leading this military formation, which is meant to kill you. So please don't give any more leniencies, don't give them any more concessions. Please fight wholeheartedly on our behalf.
Also, Prabhupada says, Duryodhana wanted to point the defect of Dronacharya. Why are you teaching somebody who's going to born to kill you? Why are you teaching military secrets to a person who's going to kill you? What kind of intelligence is this? What kind of, what kind of strategy is this? War is about all strategies and diplomacy and all that, no? So why did you teach him if you knew that he's going to kill you? And now he's standing ready to kill you. And you are on our side. So if he's born to kill you and you have taught him all the secrets, then our defeat is certain. Even in spite of having experts like you, our defeat is certain. Then what is the use of having you on our side? That's what he wants to say, basically. So he wants to point out the defects of Dronacharya. Okay, then group 3.
Hare Krishna. So we were discussing about 1.14, and we noticed a few words like tata, thereafter, is mentioned in the Prabhupada, in the meaning, word-to-word meaning. But in the purport, it mentions as on the other side. Sorry, in the translation and the purport, we see, translation and the word-to-word meaning, we see different words has been used. And stitav also we discussed because it is plural. It is dvachana, dvavachana, right? And then we found some 5-6 points actually from the purport. So the first one is in contrast with conch shell blown by Bhishma Deva's mentioned. So Bhishma Deva's name is mentioned in this verse in the purport. And so we went backwards and we saw 1.13 Bhishma Deva name is mentioned, and his conch shell is sounding like a lion, is what is mentioned there. But here, this one in this verse, Divya is mentioned, which is sounding transcendental, and so it is different from what the other party is actually blowing. And also we went through the meaning of transcendental because we have not heard about this word before. So we were trying to see, what this word means. and it is something refers to anything that is not bound by the limitations of the material world, like a birth, death, old age, and disease, but is instead part of the eternal blissful and knowledgeable spiritual existence. And then the third point, what we noted is Madhava. So this Prabhupada explains in the purport itself, whenever and wherever the Lord is present, the goddess of fortune is also there, because the goddess of fortune never lives alone without her husband. So that Prabhupada clearly mentions. And then the fourth point, why Vishnu name is mentioned by Prabhupada. The conch shell is held by Vishnu, is what Prabhupada explains. Vishnu or Krishna, he mentions. So we try to find out why, and then Krishna holds the flute actually. Vishnu is the one who holds the conch shell. So that is the reason Prabhupada mentions Vishnu or Krishna. And then the fifth point, Mahati Shandane, great chariot. So the chariot on which both the friends were seated were donated by Agni, Prabhupada mentions to Arjuna, and it means that it is capable of conquering all the sites that Prabhupada mentions. And also, so in general, we were trying to see what this verse is actually talking about. It talks about victory and fortune. So that's what we concluded. Hare Krishna.
Okay, group 4, 15th verse.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. We got chapter 115 through text 15. Here he's talking about the all the conch shells blown by Lord Krishna, Arjuna, and Bhima. So he's in the purport. Prabhupada is saying Lord Krishna is referred as Rishikesha. Basically, all the three personalities here they are referred by the different names based on their different activities they perform. Like Rishikesha means he is the controller of the senses, and how he's controller of the senses. Here he explains that he is the Paramatma feature in everybody's heart. He directs all the devotees, and he directs all the people, entities who directly surrenders unto him, and to the degree of surrender, he directs them. So here, and in case of pure devotees, he directly controls them. So here is talking about Arjuna, who is a pure devotee, and he's controlling him directly. That's the Hrishikesha referring to. And regarding Bhima, he says he's a voracious eater, but he's not only eater, but he's also a performer of Herculean tasks. That means he does great activities such as killing of demon Hidimba. And that's why his shell is a terrific conch shell. His shell is, the sound of the shell is terrific. Mahashankam. And Dhananjaya. So Dhananjaya is Arjuna because he's a fetcher of the wealth that is required for the sacrifices. So here all these three aspects are not on the other side, where Krishna is not there and Shri, the goddess of fortune, is not present. So the sound of the conch shell message, it's announcing that there will be no victory for them. They'll be losing the battle.
Okay. So while doing this exercise, you could note that in the word for meaning, Prabhupada helps us to understand Sanskrit better by breaking the compound words. And in giving the meaning, he is not just giving the meaning alone. Sometimes a whole purport will be there in one word for meaning. It happens more in Bhagavatam, less in Bhagavad Gita, but in Bhagavad Gita also. For example, Prabhupada says King Duryodhana. Now, if you read Mahabharata, Duryodhana is not yet the king. It's the ambition of Duryodhana to be the king. It's a desire of Dhritarashtra also that Duryodhana should take over as king. So he's all set to become the king, but he's not yet the king. and his hopes are going to be shattered in the battle of Kurukshetra. He's going to completely be defeated. He's going to lose his life. He's going to be killed in the battle. So Vyasadeva is carefully compiling this Bhagavad Gita and indicating how ambitious he is, that he thinks already he has won the battle. With that confidence, he has come actually for fighting, that Pandavas will not even come for the battle. But on seeing suddenly the Pandavas, he is getting completely shocked. He is overcome by fear. And he's trying to cover up as a diplomat. So all that. So therefore, you can appreciate Prabhupada actually adds things which will help our understanding in the right spirit, in the proper spirit. It's not distorting, it is not exaggerating, it's not giving his own interpretation. It is accurate because this is backed up by the facts from the Mahabharata. That you should actually appreciate. A lot of Mahabharata is there in the Bhagavad Gita in Prabhupada's explanation. In fact, in this 1.3, there is a story. Prabhupada tells a very brief. In the Mahabharata, there's a detailed explanation of this story. That Dronacharya had some political quarrel with King Drupada. The background for why Duryodhana is pointing out a defect of his teacher. This quarrel between Drona and Drupada, it's described in detail in the Mahabharata. And it is very, very surprising. Drupada is the father of Draupadi. He performed a sacrifice in which he got Draupadi as his daughter. She is a partial incarnation of the goddess of fortune. And Drishtadyumna has taken birth with certain powers to be able to actually destroy Drupada's enemy, Dronacharya. So Dronacharya is a very, very expert fighter and he's a powerful Brahmana. He's got so many secret weapons. These weapons are mantra astra. Simply by chanting one mantra, it will go searching for the target and destroy. Brahmastra particularly, and there are other astras also like that. So he knows all those secrets, but this foolish Duryodhana, foolish Dronacharya, according to Duryodhana, has taught all those secrets to the killer. To my own killer, I am teaching secrets when he has come to learn from me. Military education, he has come. So Prabhupada says, as a liberal Brahmana, he did not hesitate to impart all his military secrets. And the son of Drupada was entrusted to him for military education. See, this is the history. The history. So one story is there. So generally what we say is, when you have to explain this verse to somebody, or in a class, or in a preaching session, you tell this story, the explanation becomes very interesting. So lot of Mahabharata stories can be used to explain verses in the Bhagavad Gita. And lot of Bhagavatam verses also can be used. Bhagavatam stories can be used to explain this verses of the Gita. Like in the 10th chapter, there's a lot of reference to the churning of the milk ocean. Now, in India, Mahakumbh is going on. Kumbh Mela is going on. It has got a lot to do with the historical event which happened millions of years back. The Devatas and the Asuras, they churned the milk ocean to produce Amrita. Some drops of the Amrita fell in 4 places. And those places have become very, very auspicious for people desirous of different benefits, material benefit, spiritual benefit, or even devotional service. So that's the reference in the Bhagavatam. Using the reference in the Bhagavatam stories, you can explain several verses of chapter 10. Chapter 10, direct references there to the churning of the milk ocean. Uchchai Shravasham Ashwanam, Vidhimam Amrutodbhavam. Nectar was produced by churning the milk ocean. At that time, one horse came out while churning. An elephant came out. Airavatam Gajendranam. So all that has got reference. So Bhagavad Gita is not a mythological scripture. It's not mythology. It has actually got a solid reference to factual events that happened in history millions of years back. Krishna talks about birth of Brahma. He talks about birth of Brahma. So Brahma, when he was born, 50 years of Brahma is over. 311 trillion years is his lifespan, according to our calculation. So 150 or 155 trillion years are over. Brahma's life is over. And Bhagavad Gita is talking about before 115 trillion years, what happened. Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Bhagavad is talking about that. So you develop so much respect and appreciation of the scriptures. There's no other way we can know about the history or something that happened in the past except by the scriptures which are presented by the acharyas with all the exact details in factual details, not some imaginary story as these foolish Westerners think. They accuse us. You're all blind believers. You're blind faith. You believe in some mythology. No, this is not mythology. This is all fact. So any questions? Your time for questions? 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Okay. So you got an idea how to study? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. No, he has got a question. Afterwards, I'll take your question.
Prabhu, it's question regarding today morning Bhagavatam verse.
No, let us discuss about this. Huh? You got a question regarding now?
Yeah.
Okay. What we discuss?
The Madhusudana term is used, whereas Krishna never, I mean, a lot of, whenever we go for preaching, a lot of people ask that question, that Krishna is...
Why Krishna is Madhusudana and Krishna did not kill Madhu demon? Huh?
I mean, like Vishnu's, in the Vishnu form, Krishna...
Not Vishnu form. Hayagriva.
Okay.
Hayagriva incarnation. Whose incarnation is Hayagriva? Krishna's incarnation.
Krishna's incarnation.
Means incarnation, Krishna is coming as Hayagriva. See this Dashavatara Stotra, we sing Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa, Keshavadrita Meena Sharira. Keshava is who? Krishna. Krishna is taking the form of fish, tortoise, boar, half man, half lion. Krishna is appearing in that form. The person is Krishna. One soul, supreme soul. One and only one supreme soul. The same supreme soul in so many forms, spiritual forms, transcendental forms, called incarnations. This we have to understand. Same. They call Vishnu Tattva. The truth is there is only one person. They call him Vishnu, call him Narayana, call him Krishna. But the different forms have different functions, different moods, different features, different kinds of devotees from whom they accept service, with whom they connect, with whom they relate, with whom they reciprocate. In different moods, they reciprocate in different moods. So Madhusudana, of course, direct reference is to the killer of Madhu demon, that is Hayagriva incarnation. But whose incarnation is Hayagriva? Krishna's incarnation. Krishna's incarnation. Any other question before we close? 4 minutes more. 5 minutes more.
Yes, Maharaj, just one question. In the Bhishma Parva, Bhagavad Gita is coming after Bhishma has fallen. So why is this this way? Like after Bhishma has fallen, then he's starting to ask these questions that why, what did my sons and sons of...
No. Chronology you cannot go by where it appears. In Bhagavatam, Krishna disappeared and discussed in first canto. Krishna's appeared and discussed in the 10th canto. So first Krishna disappeared, then he appeared, is it? No, chronology is Krishna first appeared and then disappearance of Krishna. But in the sequence in which it appears in the scripture, because in the scripture the way it is presented is a question answer. Question answer. So the sages of Naimisharanya are asking Suta Goswami, kindly tell us about Parikshit. How is it that Parikshit met Shukadeva Goswami? Why did he retire from the kingly duties when he was still very young? So to answer that question, he is talking about the Pandavas, whose Arjuna's grandson is Parikshit. So Parikshit was enthroned after the Pandavas decided to retire from their kingly duties. And they retired after Krishna's disappearance. So therefore Krishna's disappearance is described. Arjuna was grief-stricken when Krishna disappeared. Not only Arjuna, all the Pandavas were very unhappy. Then they decided, if Krishna is not there, what is the point in being on this earth? Let's go back to this guarded spiritual world. We have nothing to do here. Nothing else to do. So it's not in chronology. It's not in, it is according to the question asked, the answer is given. A description is given like that.
One follow-up question on this. So Pandavas retire, and we think Pandavas went back to Vaikunta or like Krishna Loka. But usually in the Mahabharata, it is the Swargarohana Parva.
Parva is there, Swargarohana
So
Parva.
how do we explain that like for...
like if you're transiting Kuala Lumpur while coming from India to US, because you're traveling Malaysian Airlines, you stop by in Kuala Lumpur. Can't we say you went from India to Kuala Lumpur? But actually your final destination is US. Kuala Lumpur, you stop by, they give some free visa. Anyway, you're passing through Malaysia. Why don't you spend some money and make us also rich? You're all rich people from America. So when we say Mataji boarded a flight to Kuala Lumpur, but she's from US, no? I thought she was going to US. Both are correct, no? And then? So that's why when you read, don't read just one portion and then try to form a complete picture of what's happening. When you read a small portion, it is only that portion, that is what has happened. Bhagavatam says the Pandavas went back in the self-same body, back to Godhead. That's generally not, doesn't happen to others. Only for pure devotees, their body is completely spiritualized by being engaged in pure devotional service, completely 100%. Iron in contact with fire becomes red hot. Iron doesn't act like iron, it acts like fire. Iron is not fire, but iron acts like fire. A pure devotee's body, material body, acts like a spiritual body. So much so that at the time of death, a devotee need not give up his so-called material body because it's spiritualized. So in the same body, he goes back to Godhead because it's a spiritual body. It ceases to act like material, matter. It becomes spiritualized. Just like prasadam, ordinary food, you offer to Krishna. What happens? It becomes spiritualized. Completely, it is transcendental. It no longer has any karmic effect. You eat that, you become Krishnaized. You become Krishna conscious by eating apparently ordinary food. For atheists, they say you the same thing. You believe that something happens when you keep it in front of some picture or statue. But we see nothing happens. Same thing. So quantitatively, there's no change. Externally, there's no change, but inside, a lot of changes have happened. Karma is completely nullified. And Krishna has added his love, his saliva. When Krishna eats, it touches his saliva. And the remnants of what he has eaten is uchishta, remnants left behind by after Krishna has accepted the prasadam, the food you have offered. So therefore, the change in the food, anna becomes annamrita, bhoga becomes prasadam. So this you should understand. It's not appreciated by non-devotees. It can only be understood by devotees. What happens when we do offering? What happens if you take to devotional service and 100% engage in pure devotional service? Your body becomes spiritualized. Rupa Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami says, Jivan Mukta Sauchate. Iha Ayasya Harer Dasye Karmana Manasagira. Nikhil, you have to tell me, Sanatan, time up? Vikram, time up? Okay, last point. This is the statement by Rupa Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami, that if you engage in pure devotional service, your body, mind, and words, all your assets, resources, then your body is no longer material. It becomes spiritualized. We'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.